Greetings. A sham, that which is purported not to be true, alleged, that which is very used in a very derogatory way. Degrading, demise, demeaning, disrespectful. Words, reading is not what you see on reading is not what you see on paper. Reading is observational. Read and study. Is it so that in the society in which we live, that the reading is done with the intention to demean, degrade, devalue, disrespect, dishonor, and yet deceive one another, which makes many to be very delusional. How do you go about converting ideas in the word and words in the meaning and meaning into an expression, a human emotion that hopefully one can act on it logically? Is it logically or logical and necessary to demean, devalue, degrade, disrespect, dishonor, and degrade each other by pretending to be something that we are not? If you wake up in the morning, even though there is a definition that has been given about that word based upon how it sounds, but the breaking of the dawn, the light, the darkness into the light of the same kind, but just go about bringing about something that is done differently. How do we go about as humans to overcome our differences? There are terms such as race, there's terms such as class, there's terms such as rich, there are terms such as poor, there are terms such as up, down, left, right, good or bad, evil and good, right or wrong. Maybe what humans are doing is trying to do their best to represent the reality in which they live. And utilizing the resources of this plane of existence called Earth, using it to the best of their ability, and their ability in which they are using it is how they respond. But yet how they respond, it becomes their psychology. And that can be based on their mentality. How do one continue to not demean, degrade, devalue, disrespect, and dishonor the life in which one lives on this plane of existence? Some are more celebrated than others. Some are more appreciated than others. Some are more valued than others. Some are more respected than others. Some are more recognizable or recognized, being more powerful than others. These are all the meaning, dishonorable, degrading, devaluing, disrespectful behaviors, thinking, thoughts, and mindset, which makes people very delusional. And they who think as such and behave as such is very delusional as well. Now that's not to say that those who live will excel in certain things. I know that many have we have this genetic makeup, and some genetic makeup in human beings have a tolerance level. Some are stronger than others. Some live longer than others. But it is that which is eternal is the spirit of the soul. It is housed in each and every physical body. And in the human body, it is the human consciousness. Nature within the human nature, natural inclination in the human is to gravitate to other humans and have affection for them, for one another. Humans want to be productive. We can look at this creation of what it has produced. So humans take their cue from what has been produced in this universe, this plane of existence. What about catastrophes and the destructiveness of it, such as in the ocean, tsunami or hurricane or tornado or volcano, or even a falling asteroid. That's natural. So the propensity to kill for humans, the natural inclination to be destructive, humans can take their cue from creation. Humans can take their cue from what they see in other species. The hypocritical nature of humans, that they must realize that the manner and way in which they take their cue is from themselves. There is something to behold in a world and a society when humans are able to manage and control their own instincts. That should be something that is able to distinguish humans. When you look at the society in which we live, we create what is called laws. Laws are possibly brought about to remedy a wrong that has been done. But yeah, the law is some associated with laws with something that which is in the universe, a universal law, and that should be able to stand on what is called a principle. And what is that principle in which people should stand on? There's a saying that let your conscience be your guide. And we have the family that has been produced. Family need the basic necessities, the food, clothing, the shelter. The family goes about trying to make or use the resources that is available to them to protect them from the elements of the earth. Yet the humans will use the resources to protect them from each other. We look at nuclear weapons, we look at bombs, we look at the armament of weapons, of guns. We look at the resources or that which comes from the earth, and the intention or the mentality behind the people who produce these mechanisms or weapons of mass destruction is used to protect themselves from themselves. And then we see the intentions behind of which an individual go about using the thing. Possibly before anything that can be used, one's intentions must be perfected. And what do I mean by one's intentions? Because intentions, you see the intent in which the manner, way in which you use a thing. That is the actions that you will take. And then we get into influence. When you get into influence, you realize when it comes to humans, should be able to control their instinctive nature. our feelings, our emotions, and how do we judge our feelings and our emotions? And how should we be judged is the matter and way in which we react to them. Very challenging indeed in the society in which we live. When we see people having more than what is required of them, we see people who live luxuriously and they have the skill, the wherewithal, and the dedication, as well as the commitment and determination to come out a certain impoverished state financially into a state of wealth and prosperity. That is to be commended by them. Well, what is it so, or how is it so, that certain countries or certain people who have the wherewithal, the good ideas of how to achieve and acquire wealth, yet while at the same time there seemed to be an impoverishment of the spirit and in the soul, because they will misappropriately use that wealth. And while at the same time build systems or mechanisms in place to protect them, to be able to hold on to that wealth, and that they will use that wealth to influence others along the way and bring them on board, and therefore they become their guardians of that wealth and that way of life, and they're able to sustain and dominate and control others in determining how their wealth should be distributed. And they are seen to be responsible people. And now we get into social comparison. And we see that this social comparison is the manner and the way in which you need to go about achieving wealth, and how you are able to maintain and hold on to that wealth. But yet there is no protection of the human soul or the human spirit. The human mind, the mentality. And what do I mean by it's not protected? Because it has become contaminated and has become corrupted with the wealth, with the power, with the greed, and with the corruption. And then people become voted in to further to perpetuate and promote that corruption. And now we're getting into politics. And it becomes one's national identity, which seems to be accepted, seems to be voted for through a ballot box. Humans seem to be herded in that way. They're herded in that way to further put people in office to govern and rule and control and even regulate your affairs, or regulate each and every one of our affairs. And now when we deal with affairs, we're dealing with how we come to interact with one another socially, morally, based upon one's status in life, one's position in life, one's academic achievements in life. It deals with one's social interaction skills. While at the same time, common courtesy can be diminishing. You walk past someone, you greet them. That happens to do with culture. Then when you deal with culture, you deal with customs. Culture and customs. What you have become accustomed to becomes your culture. What has influence over you becomes your politics. Your politics becomes your national identity. And when you deal with your national identity, you deal with more that is considered to be a nation. But yet the challenge is that in that national identity, in the politics and in the culture and that which you have become accustomed to, by which you have been given an influence of something, and that which it is something is determining what you should identify with. Now we see that many are delusional and is suffering from an identity crisis. For one, identity is universal. And what do I mean by universal? The language that we speak, the dialect, the dialogue of many, historically, as we contribute make a contribution that which is going to distinguish us. Is that contribution to the world. It's going to be either destructive or constructive. Until next time.